Okay, welcome to Vernland Radio and just pure talk with Verm and Akai. But you know what's on today? You know what's missing today? Verm. That means we could talk about almost anything, unless it's the C word or the T word. And then, but there was a lot of cool articles. Now I got to find all these articles because I was buried under.
Well, while you're doing that, let's
buried under trying to get my microphone to work because the volume kept adjusting itself, and I hate that, and it doesn't work very well when you're trying to do it in this. So I've had a good week. Been doing a lot of stuff. Truck Sam, have you been doing a lot of stuff? What have you been doing this week?
I went to Florida, went up to Alabama, over to Louisiana, went up to Arkansas. Now I'm heading to El Paso.
Yeah.
Actually, New Mexico. Yeah, New Mexico by El Paso. So, having fun. Keep me busy.
What about you, Doc? What have you been doing?
Going to the doctor too damn much. I have a broken arm.
It's because you're old.
Look who's talking, sir. You got like 15 years on me.
I am like a 5-year-old in a 52-year-old body. So,
yeah, I agree with that.
So.
No, I found out today that I have what's called a Hill-Sachs lesion. It's where you dislocate your shoulder, and when it does it, it causes a compression fraction on your ball of your shoulder, or the ball of the humerus. So I get to have MRIs in a couple weeks. It's a 2-hour-long MRI.
Ooh.
Because they're checking for tissue damage, and then after that, the VA doctor straight up told me, nope, we're going to send you to the local specialist because I can't deal with this. I'm not getting into it, which is great. The fact that he makes him even cooler than when he says, I don't know. I'm going to send you to someone that knows more than me.
Well, at least they understand their limitations.
I mean, he's a VA doc that was also in the Navy for some amount of years and did the same thing in the Navy as a doc. So, I mean, as Akai and I were talking about it, he's probably just a guy that likes to take care of Joe.
Yeah, which is always good.
Well, while you're looking for articles, let's talk about Island Time. We were talking about how...
We were talking about Island Time.
Truck Sam, do you know what Island Time is?
No, I do not, actually.
So some people might call it Hawaii time. You call it Midwestern time. But it's when someone says they're going to be there at 2 o'clock and they show up like 3
hours.
Like a woman.
I wouldn't say just a woman, because I can tell you that in Jamaica, it happens to everyone. They'll say be there at 3 and they're not ready until 5 o'clock. Men, women, children. They also have heard it called African time. I'm wondering if anybody listening knows any other name for it, because I've only heard it called Hawaii African Island time. Sam, you said Midwest time?
Yeah, Midwest time. Some people are on Midwest time, farm time. But I think it's just because you get so wrapped up in doing what you got to do around the farm or around the homestead or whatever that you don't realize that time slipped by. And you've been working that whole time, and then you rush to get ready, and you're already an hour late, and then you got a half-hour drive and to get there. And we still came, but we're late. We know.
Sorry, I had to bring in the harvest.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing is, as long as they let the person know. I mean, in today's society, not letting the person know, say, "Hey, I'm going to be a little late." To me, it's kind of rude, and it really irks me off. It's like, "Hey, I'm going to be here at this time."
What do you want me to send? Carrier pigeon?
No.
I got no signal up at my cabin. If I'm running late, I have to drive a half hour before I get telephone.
Which is beautiful. You know what that means about your cabin? Hey, no one can bother you.
You do have signal because you have streamed from there. So
I have. I do not now.
Yeah,
it
I
goes
do
out
not
now?
now. There is no signal up there whatsoever from AT&T. Everybody from T-Mobile and all those other jackwagons, they got signal, but they got 5 bars up there. AT&T, 0.
Well, you were talking about switching anyways, because AT&T is kind of going downhill as it is.
AT&T's going downhill. I feel like it's going downhill. The price I'm paying for my service is redonkulous compared to these guys on Mint Mobile and all those other Cricket and $30 a month or $40 a month for a phone. Plans as low as $15 a month.
Well, it doesn't come with anything, let me tell you.
Well, if all you need is a phone, great. But at $45 a month, I got guys getting unlimited wireless and data and all that stuff for $45 a month, and I'm paying $100 and something a month. A phone.
We do a lot of business with Verizon Network,
Mm-hmm.
and they were talking to me last time on a call about how they're deploying more satellites and they're trying to make satellite service for everyone that has
And so is AT&T, and AT&T is trying to go with that satellite gig, which makes sense. But eventually I am going to put Starlink up there. So then I will have a way to contact people. But that's if the batteries are charged, because I'm going to be on solar. There's no electricity up there unless I charge it. So there's also no water up there unless I bring it. So
you don't have like a portable generator just in case?
Sure, you can buy me one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying.
4,500 watt peak.
Then he has to buy gas.
Pure sine wave inverter. And it needs to be quiet. Like a Honda.
Well, it's like what you always tell me. Oh, you make money, go out and buy it.
I will eventually. But if you want me to have a generator up there and it's not there when you want it, you get to pay for it.
Yeah.
So what else has been going on? You're medically broken. We're talking about island time.
I was gonna say the only thing I need up there is a few targets downrange so he can take some shots at it.
Well, we'll just have to invite Tuck Sam to come down, drive down the road, and you have all the targets you want. Don't aim for the truck. Just aim for the trailer.
Well, make sure you got an old one. These beepers cost some money.
So the one article you had was how everyone's all bent out of shape that the president decided to exercise his right to control the federal police force in Washington, D.C., because I guess people don't seem to understand that Washington, D.C. is a federal territory. They don't have any votes. The only vote they have is to break tiebreakers in Congress.
Yeah, that's it.
They're only there to break it.
They're not a state.
Nope.
They are not a state.
And if I were to go back,
city.
No.
DC is not a state.
No, but
it's a federal district.
Yeah, but the city takes up part of two states, ain't it?
No, it's its own piece of land.
So there's a federal district of DC, and there's areas around it in like Maryland, and is it? I know it's Maryland. I don't remember.
Virginia.
I was gonna say I think it's Virginia, but never had to go there. There are areas outside of the federal area that are part of the city of Washington D.C. By proxy, but it's like you have Denver, Colorado, and you have Loveland.
I would be curious. I don't think that's under the control of federal. I think DC is all in its own. DC Metro is its own thing. It's all within the district. If it falls outside the district, then the feds have no say in it, unless they wrote some new law. Because DC cops are federal agents.
Correct. They go through the same process as the Secret Service or the FBI.
And DC cops and Washington DC cops they got a couple stations, like they got one in California and places like that, So it's interesting. It's interesting to see what they're doing. But while you're looking stuff up, I'm going to try to find that article.
I'm looking at the stuff up for that to see. So they have a big square area that's actually big and square. Not a lot of it's actually in Virginia. Most of it's in Maryland.
Yeah, but it's its own chunk of land, and if it falls within that chunk of land, you're under federal jurisdiction.
But it takes up 2 states. It's in 2 states.
It does not take up 2 states.
You're not getting where I'm coming from, bro.
Listen. Listen. I need you to listen. It is its own entity. It is not a part of any state. It's not part of like Nebraska and Iowa just because it goes across state lines. The land inside, hold on, the land inside is owned by the federal government.
Yeah,
the states have no rights to it. It is not a part of that state.
And it's not. I'm not saying that. But what state is it in?
It's actually only in Maryland.
It's in the state of Washington, D.C. That's what it's in. It's in the District of Columbia.
No, what I'm trying to say is
it's not in the state of Virginia. It's not in the state of Maryland. It's in the District of Columbia.
Okay, and what state is it in?
The District of Columbia only takes up Maryland right now.
Maryland,
the Potomac. No, everyone thinks that too. However, the Potomac is where it stops, and the Potomac is what separates Maryland and Virginia. However, I think there's stuff in place that if they need to expand across that river, they can, and they will just annex land. And when the federal government annexes land, it
will become the District of. Can you say it with me? Can you say it with me? Columbia, which is not a state.
I thought I was not trying to make a point of at all.
Yeah, but you're trying to say it's in a state, in the state. It's not in the state. It's its own entity.
It's actually in Maryland.
If I told you your house was in Iowa and you lived in Iowa and I asked you, what state is it in? You would say Iowa. Yeah. Now, if your house is in Washington, D.C., and I say, what state is it in? You are going to say, oh, it's in the District of Columbia. It's not in Virginia. It's not in Maryland. It's in the District of Columbia.
Its bordering states are.
It's not its own state.
No.
It is its own state.
Correct. No, it isn't.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
They have.
I don't know. I don't know what school you went to, but the District of Columbia is its own entity. It is a state by all senses. It doesn't have the right to vote. You don't have the right to you don't. Your congressman has no power except to do a tiebreaker. They don't get any. I don't even know if they get an electoral vote. Do they? They might get one, but
nope. Because last time I heard they don't do that because they're not a state.
Yeah, because they're not a state.
They're
the District of Columbia is a state.
So let's talk about this.
But what would you put? But what would you put down when you're doing in a thing?
They put district.
District of Columbia.
DC is an option when you're doing a state. DC is an option, but the only city for DC is Washington. What I don't understand though is why so many people moved into Washington DC when you have Arlington and Bethesda, Maryland, and all these Alexandria, Virginia. Why would you want to move to a place where you don't have
cheap land?
Well, it might have been cheap land, but no representation.
Not anymore.
Taxation without representation is the reason why we
can't. Yeah, it's a total oxymoron against the American Constitution. Is that?
You know, speaking of that, I seen something funny. Did you?
That's socialism for you.
Is it William or Harry that's in the United States? Is it Harry?
Harry's in the United States, and he lives in California, I believe.
Did you know that his daughter was born in the United States?
Yes.
Did you know that his daughter can become the president?
Could.
So King Henry IV was playing the long game, the 250-year long game.
Yep.
Oh man.
Who knows?
Did you also hear?
You can't. Yeah.
On the same note, Yeah, so Harry is here. William and his wife, I believe, separated from the legal group that uh, the legal group for the crown, and they have their own legal group.
Which Harry did?
William.
William, which is next in line, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think what might be happening.
Well, King Charles is not doing well health wise, last I heard. I don't know. Maybe we should look that up.
Princess William hires Princess Diana's lawyers, and surprising break from King Charles. I think that what's going to happen is I think that he's going to probably bring his dad to court and say he's not fit for the crown.
Which is not going to go.
I mean, it probably won't go. It'd be like.
Do you know why it's not going to go?
They have enough money to pay off the lawyers.
No, because he's the king. He has the final say. He's technically the highest power in the land. He'd be like, nope, case dismissed. Get that thing out of here. You'd have to bring a lot of... And so what if he's got cancer? And he's acting wackadoodle? How many kings have acted wackadoodle?
Oh, well, let's be honest. We just had a president that obviously was a few bushels short.
Yeah, he was a few Oreos short of a pack. I guarantee that. And I like Oreos.
I got these new Oreos. They're toffee crunch flavored.
You make me sick.
Let's look up the king while we're on this tangent.
I did, and my understanding is his duties were being done by William while he was getting treatments. I don't know if he's done with treatments or because they kind of keep that stuff hush hushy, you know.
There's not many monarchs that have stepped down. Usually they're dead.
Oh no, they stepped down onto the sword.
The Pope, one of the popes stepped down.
That's usually unusual. They usually die in office.
Yeah,
you know there was a guy.
That's a monarchy.
Did you know that there was a guy? There's a website where you can bet on anything, and a guy won like $60,000, like with a $50 bet, betting that the guy that became pope was going to become pope. I didn't know you could bet on who would become the next pope.
Yeah,
You be amazed what you can bet on.
It was like a 1% chance the guy pocket is like $60,000.
he must have been praying hard. Let this guy be pope. Let this guy be pope. Woo! I can pay off my mortgage.
Let's see.
Okay, so let's move on. I had an article about Air Canada. I believe it's Air Canada. Seems like they're going on. Yeah, Air Canada has started canceling flights ahead of a potential strike, I guess, which is supposed to happen here Thursday after the union representative, its flight attendants, said they issued a 72-hour strike notice. So in 72 hours, they're going to be going on strike. They've been offered some things to try to negotiate, but it seems like they are arguing for
Higher
wages and better benefits, which like everybody wants, right? But one of the things in the article was it was about, they feel like they're making, less than minimum wage, which I don't know what minimum wage is. Can we look up minimum wage in Canada?
Well, the other thing is, they start on a different thing. If I remember right,
$17.75 an hour. I don't know if that's Canadian dollars or converted to.
That would be Canadian dollars.
But they my understanding is, unless that's on the tarmac, they're rolling, they're in the flight, they don't get paid until then.
Yeah, so the bus drivers, that's the way bus drivers get paid. They get paid by, like some of these bus drivers that work here in town, they get paid by the amount of people they transport or, how many runs in a shift.
So they get paid $28.88 per flight hour. And if you get to your 13th year, it's $67.11 per flight hour. However, let's be honest, Sam, when's the last time you flew?
It's been a while, but it's been within a year.
Okay, so when you go and your plane is supposed to leave at 3:00, what time do you have to get to the airport?
I have to get there 3 to 4 hours early so I can get through security and blah blah blah.
So you think maybe the flight attendants have a little, so give them 2 hours early, and then it's going to take them 2 extra hours. So if you have a 3-hour flight, they work for 7 hours and get paid for 3.
Yep.
So they're getting paid $100 for 7 hours of work. So that does kind of seem like under minimum wage.
Yeah, but there's probably stuff in there. There's probably like ground fee time or report time, and
No,
they go straight through TSA. They don't have to get in the line with everybody else. They have their own. Yet they have their own special line, dude.
Yep, they do, but they still go through TSA.
No,
it's not like we do.
Not like we
do, but they still go through TSA.
They don't have to handle with the, hey, take off your shoes, buddy. Hey, we're going to rub this thing all over your bag and it's going to come back positive. Of course it's going to come back positive. It's my range bag, you dumbass. It's going to come back with GSR all over it.
Mm-hmm.
I used to love that. When I was a gunsmith and I would fly, and they'd go, oh, we got the little red thing. Yeah, I know. You got to check me, make sure I don't have explosives. Because I had an explosives license. And I would go up to the thing, and they'd be like, oh, it's going to test positive. I'm tell you right now, it's everything I own tests positive for GSR. And they're like, why? Because I work as a gunsmith, dude. I work with guns all day. I clean guns. I make guns. I fire guns. My whole life is GSR. The inside of my truck is GSR. I says, there's no way for me to get away with it unless I walk in there and buy brand new clothes and brand new bags. And
no, thank you.
And he came back. He goes, yeah, everything tested positive for GSR. So we have to manually inspect everything. Go ahead, knock yourselves out.
Mm-hmm. So what they're getting right now is they make the entry-level full-time flight attendants make 2,108 Canadian dollars per month. But a full-time normal wage worker at $17.75 an hour would earn $2,800 Canadian dollars per month.
Mm-hmm.
So the only benefits they're getting is free flights, and I don't know how that works. I don't know what their other like health benefits.
Well, they get free flights, they get their medical and all that stuff. So what's going to happen is they're going to be like, okay, fine, we'll raise your pay, but no more free flights.
You are correct.
We'll discount the flight for you. We'll give you a 50% off coupon. You could take 3 of those a year. There's a lot. I mean, that's where you got to.
Oh, they already said it. They're putting an employee blackout period. They'll allow them to fly until August 2020. So the blackout, but employees who may return home from business travel, but outbound travel with departure dates before August 23rd must be canceled. Employees traveling on standby may attempt to return home, but if they're on POS leisure passes, may attempt to return home. However, they may be removed from the flight if those seats are needed for revenue customers.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, though. Let's just say you put 200 people on a flight and you charge every person $20 more per ticket, that would probably cover the difference for those flight attendants. Is that $40,000 extra?
It's insane. It's just insane.
No, it's $4,000.
It's not. But what's a good minimum wage?
Well, that's the problem with minimum wage.
Like, do you get paid to stand around and wait to go do your job?
They don't. They only get paid to the planes in there. That's why
you don't. Yep. He doesn't. My buddy's a bus driver. He doesn't get paid to stand around and wait. He only gets paid when the wheels are spinning.
Yep.
So I don't, I understand their complaint, but threatening to go on strike and messing up everybody else's stuff, just don't fly Air Canada, folks.
Well, that's any airline. I mean, any
if
airline.
If they want to go on strike, then don't fly them. If it hurts your business interest, don't fly them.
Well, the other thing is like, bad thing is when you raise minimum wage, everything else goes up along with
everything.
It. Unless there's a way to where
I've been saying that for decades. If you raise the price of the lowest wage earner, the guy that's flipping the hamburger at McDonald's,
yep,
and now he's making $20 an hour, and you're like, yeah, he's making $20 an hour. That's awesome, man. They got it. Woohoo! Well, when you go to McDonald's, how much you think your hamburger is going to cost you?
Well, it's
going to be $25 for the hamburger.
Well,
look at California.
Well, hold on. That's what I was going to talk about. I have a friend that lives out there, and we were comparing prices. My Big Mac meal is like $12 plus tax. His is $17, and we have a $17 minimum wage, and they have a $20 minimum wage.
There's your $3 difference.
They straight up put it right into the customer.
Well, of course, the customer. You're going to charge the customer for it. That's how that works. You're not going to go into debt, but now that it's $20, how many people are going to McDonald's or 17 to get their kid a Happy Meal?
Not as many as you think.
Nobody's going there. I drive past those places. They are empty. Empty. When you drive past the Burger King line, when you drive past the Burger King line and there's one car in the drive-in on a Friday night, when you drive past that Wendy's and there's no cars in the drive-in line, Whataburger's got a full line. But I think you get more bang for your buck at Whataburger. But
I mean, I brought my wife to Culver's for the first time, and she preferred them over McDonald's or
it's a better food.
McDonald's, like when we were kids, the quarter pounders were quarter pounders, which they still are now. But the Big Macs, I swear, they use quarter pound patties. Now they use the same patties they put on the rest of the hamburgers. They're a tenth of a pound each.
Yeah.
So you have a Big Mac, you get 20% of a pound of meat, which, let me see, 3.5 ounces maybe? 3.
Yeah. And how do you... it's all pre-cook.
I used to work there, and they actually have a pretty low fat content in their beef. They do not produce a lot of grease. I would say they're either using 90, 93, or 95.
Or earthworms.
Well, we're not. We could always talk about the duck feathers in their chicken nuggets.
Duck feathers in the chicken nuggets. That's awesome.
They use a protein in the chicken nuggets that comes from duck feathers for some reason.
I do not like McDonald's chicken nuggets. I cannot do. To me, they're gross.
Uh-huh.
If I was going to do anybody's chicken nuggets, it's Chick-fil-A. We're going Chick-fil-A. Their nuggets are phenomenal.
Chick-fil-A is really good. Who else is good?
But Wendy's, Burger King, all those guys, when they do like chicken nuggets, I think they all come from the same plant. It's like a deep fried chicken nugget.
They either use a Food Service of America or some other.
Yeah.
But I can tell you where you get it from too.
Well, tell us.
Because I haul a lot of that. I haul like if it's what is that not Chick-fil-A, but the other one that's chicken place that does the chicken fingers. I usually pick up a lot of that out of Georgia.
The chicken finger guys, the
Slim Chickens.
No,
Raising Cane.
Not a fan. Their chicken's pretty good. Their coleslaw, I do not like it.
Well, I'll be honest. I don't like any coleslaw anymore because my wife makes it homemade.
Yeah, it's way better.
And it's not like super sweet. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't feel like you're like. I remember working at a KFC and I had
All
to
those
make,
commercial coleslaws, it's just so much sugar.
it's like, let me have a little bit
And
of
mayonnaise.
cabbage with my sugar. Like, it was so gross.
No, I'm talking like you're dumping like 4-cup like big things of sugar into the cabbage. It's not
When
right.
I
That's
worked
why
at
that's why
KFC,
we're all fat.
so you got each part and you had to mix it all in, and then you had to add the sauce and wear a glove and mix it, and like you probably put 2 gallons of it into 3 gallons of stuff, like the carrots and stuff. So it's just like, is it okay? It's okay. It's not it's not good. Now my wife will add like a little bit of salt and a little bit of sugar, so you like can taste all this stuff. You don't taste the sweet in your mouth. You can taste like the carrots and the cabbage and um I forget everything that's in coleslaw, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean. You taste all the parts. The best burger place I've ever been to is a place called Portillo's. They're generally out of Chicago. They're known for their chicken, their ribs, and their burgers. They make them fresh,
And
and
it's a chain. Is it a
it is
chain?
it is. But they have, I think, one in Minnesota, maybe 3 in California. All of the rest of them are in Chicagoland that I know of. I don't know if they have any locations other than that.
My best burger place is King Chef, hands down. And I think have I taken you? I thought I took you there, but
Yeah, you did.
and then that's the best burger for me around here. But let's get back to this minimum wage thing. So, how much money do you really need to make to live off of? I mean, like you need to buy food, you need to have a place to stay, you need to have,
question.
And it's
Honest,
all like, I think people think they need to live at a higher level than the money they make.
Well, rent.
And I don't.
Rent's a big factor.
Rent's a huge factor, but I don't think if you can't get an apartment just because it's on the nice side of town for $2,000 a month, and think you're going to pull that off when you're making a minimum wage. That's not going to happen. You're going to have roommates.
Well, even in the poor part of town, you rent so high price. I mean, it was supposed to be like, what was it, a quarter of your income per month is supposed to go to rent, and it's like
It's
more than
30%.
close. Yeah, but it's something where now you're spending like
100,000. 100,000 a year is what people should make.
100,000 a year. So
yeah,
now a burger is going to cost me $100.
No. So I'm not saying in straight wages. I'm saying with wages, benefits, 401k, it should cost a company 100,000. And I'm not talking about McDonald's, because I think more high schoolers need to work at McDonald's, because they actually can pay high schoolers less in a lot of places because there's different minimum wages based on how old they are. And the problem
but high schoolers can't fill the schedule now. Let's get some reality. They're when school is in session, they're not going to be working lunch on a Monday afternoon. Correct. It's going to be retired people that aren't, that just want a job and got a job there, and people that are trying to get by. Saying that everybody's wage should be $100,000, that's just ridiculous, dude.
Well, what I'm looking at is that would allow people to afford houses and stop paying rent. But that would collapse the whole economy too.
Yeah, it would collapse the economy because then everything would skyrocket to meet that $100,000 worth of free money. And that's the problem.
I didn't say free. I said they had to work for it. So
that's the problem, though. We give, what was that, universal basic income, which is, I think, going to become a thing. I think eventually people will be on universal basic income.
So
It's-
let me ask you a few questions. Truck Sam, how much do you make a year?
About 80.
You know, I have linemen that do less work than you at work that start at $50 an hour, and all they have to do is go out and play with power poles all day long.
Yeah, I can believe that.
So
The other
I
thing
think
is, do you have the passion for it? You know, because if you don't have the passion for the job you do, or you don't stick with it.
Yeah, but why should I have to pay somebody that has the passion for a job a living wage? Let's call it a living wage.
Well, because if
and
you
like I said,
don't, you don't
$100,000
be
with benefits.
you don't be having a major turnover rate issue.
No, I won't.
You know, if you, yeah, you will.
No, I won't.
I'll give you guys
Because
an
I used to
example.
work in a convenience store as assistant manager, and the turnover rate was outrageous. And they
Who are
were
you
paying
hiring?
above people that put in an application.
You're not hiring people of the highest quality because a lot of those
there's
people
some people
don't
out
apply. A lot of those people don't apply for that job.
Because there's not enough people.
Let's be honest. You're getting
No.
Joe Schmeckel from down the street that smokes 3 packs a day, that's got to take a cigarette break every 15 minutes, and can't understand why he has to change, clean the bathroom.
So let's talk about this living wage. I can give my employer as example.
So if you don't have the passion for it, you're not going to give your
No.
best. That's what I'm
That's
talking
a whole
about.
different story. We'll get on that in a second, Truck Sam. My company pays about $15,000 per employee for their insurance per year.
Yep.
And they give you 4% free. You get 4% retirement if you put nothing in.
That's cool.
And if you put in 5%, they'll match 5% more. So right now I'm putting in 5% and I'm getting.
So you're almost getting 15% into your retirement for just putting 5% in?
Correct.
That's awesome. There's companies that don't do that.
That obviously costs them money, and
that's a
if
problem.
you take what I make, my salary's around like $115,000 with all of the benefits that they're paying for. They pay for $6,500 of your HSA, no cost to you. They have reimbursements. When I went and paid a hospital bill that I had, they sent me money for it. Like there's a lot of stuff that from the employee side that they don't understand about employers. Now, to get to what you're saying, Truck Sam, what the actual problem is in the 80s and 90s and the early 2000s, they were trying to send every kid to get a damn 4-year degree. Not every
Massive problem.
Not every kid needs a 4-year degree. Some of them need to go to tech school to be mechanics. They'd spend far less money, which would bring down the cost that they would need to live to survive, and then they would make money quicker to pay off those debts. Lineman school, I think, is like,
but also
like a year and a half for them to make $100,000 a year. Electrician school is the same,
but also,
and they can make $100,000 a year. How many electricians do you know, Sam?
A lot.
How many of them are old and getting ready to retire?
All of them.
What happens?
You can't find an electrician to fix your stuff in the garage, which is, and I got to schedule them 6 months out, and that's a nationwide problem. Same with plumbers, HVAC guys, electricians, anything in the trades, landscapers, roofers, all those guys are drying up, and there's nobody coming in to replace them.
Like here's an example of politics at its finest. A low voltage license to run Ethernet cable that runs PowerNet, PoE.
I know somebody does that, and they make really good money at it.
They make really good money. But let me tell you what it takes to get a certification in North Dakota and Minnesota. You have to do 6,000 hours under a master electrician. Do you know how many hours
Holy
it takes?
Holy crap, that's like 5 years.
No, it's 3 years.
3 years?
Okay. Do you know how many hours it takes to become a master electrician? 10,000 hours. So wouldn't you go to electrician school, go be an apprentice? At 8,000 hours, you can become a journeyman. You spend another year, you can become a master electrician. You take your test. Now you can be certified to do the low voltage cable, and you can do all the rest of your electricity, and you can have your own company. But that's bureaucracy because
There's a lot of guys I know that are one-man shops doing plumbing and doing HVAC, making mid to high six figures a year as a one-man shop. But I'm going to tell you this, it's not given to you. You got to put in the hustle. And if you're not putting in the hustle, you're not making it.
Hey, Truck Sam, we all know you sit around all day in your office.
And sleep in it too.
Yeah. But having the passion for the job, hold on, you have to hear me out on this one. Because I saw an Al Bundy clip.
I am.
Yesterday or the day before, where he's up there giving the speech to his wife about how he's not a loser. The fact that he goes to work 40 hours every week to slave away to buy the family whatever they need and food and blah, blah, blah. And he doesn't quit and he keeps doing it every week, even though the job sucks balls, and it's not his dream job, but he keeps doing it. That is the problem in America that is gone. Kids nowadays, adults nowadays think if I'm not doing my dream job, I don't have a passion for it, I'm not going to give 100%.
Well, and also it's
it's not the company.
Because
it's not the company. You're an employee. You work for the company. Well, the company's job is not to give you passion to work for them.
You pick your damn job. You apply.
Let me finish here.
Give 100%.
I'm going to let you finish here.
I let you
go ahead.
It's something. Basically, what it comes down to it is these companies back in like the 40s, 30s, and all that. When you got hired on where they grow, you grow. They gave good benefits. They treated you like family. And nowadays you don't see that at all. It's pretty much how much money we can squeeze out of you as low as we can.
And there are companies that do that. Okay.
Yeah, and there's very few.
It's not as few as you. It's not as few as you think. If you're going to go work for a corporate conglomerate, you're not going to find that. If you go work for the Walmarts and the Targets and whatever, companies that are of that size, Costco is a phenomenal company to go work for. Oh my God, the benefits, the pay. Oh Jesus, man! If I would have started there instead of being a plumber, oh my God, they make so much money. It's ridiculous, but you got to find the company that works for you.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
You gotta have that
no, it's not passion.
That company.
It's
not passion.
Yes,
it's not passion. That is the wrong word. Listen
you
up.
Have passion to stay there.
It's not passion. The will to stay in a job is because you made an agreement to go work for that guy.
Correct.
Okay? It's not passion. You're to go work every day and work 40 to 70 hours a week, busting your hump, is because you promised a man that you made a deal with the man to go, I'm going to be here, I'm going to do this. It's nothing about passion. It's because you need $1 in your pocket. You need that money to feed your family. You need that money. It's not about passion. It's about your minority. It's about your.
Would you stick around?
For years, dude. For years, I have gone to jobs that I absolutely detest. Every waking moment that I'm there, but I do it with a smile. I greet my customers. I greet my customers with a smile, and I do my job as professionally as I can. It's not about passion. It's about what my name is. It's not about the passion. It's about what name am I putting out there? Because if you work in smaller towns, your name is everything. So if you're a dirtbag and you don't have the passion to go work, well, when you go hire on the next side, you're like, yeah, you can hire John, but he's not a hard worker because he doesn't have the passion. No. All you want that guy to know is that John guy, hard worker, dude. That guy will bust his hump. He'll show up every day, even when he's sick. He's amazing. It's not about passion. When you retire and you want to do what your retirement job is, because you have the passion for it, go for it, man. But nowadays, when you get a job, you need to show up at work. And if you find something better, then go work for that guy. But at least have the common courtesy to give a 2-week notice.
There's a story about that.
No, it's not a point. It's a fact.
So. I'm going to read you a story.
Well, the only thing is, that's your point of view.
No, you're just, your words are wrong.
So,
get a dictionary.
Let me read a story here. No. Truck Sam. So a young man applied as a job as a farmhand. When the farmer asked for qualifications, he said, "I can sleep through a storm." This puzzled the farmer, but he liked the young man, so he hired him. A few weeks later, the farmer and his wife were awakened in the night by a violent storm ripping through the valley. He leapt out of bed and called for his new hired hand, but the young man was sleeping soundly. So they quickly began to check to see if everything was secure. They found that the shutters of the farmhouse had been securely fastened. A good supply of logs had been set next to the fireplace. The farmer's wife inspected the property, and they found that the farm tools had been placed in the storage shed, safe from the elements. He saw that the bales of wheat had been bound and wrapped in tarps. The tractor had been moved into his garage. The barn was properly locked tight. Even the animals were calm and had plenty of field. All is well. The farmer then understood the meaning of the young man's words. "I can sleep through a storm."
And what that means, if people are a little too thick out there, what that means is if you do your job properly and you perform all the tasks up to your highest level that you can, not because of passion, but because you're supposed to. That's the job requirement. That people don't have to worry about if it's done at night. They can sleep through the night because they know it's done correctly.
Yeah, it says here, because the farmhand did his work loyally and faithfully, which loyalty is a big thing that's gone. When the skies were clear, he was prepared for any storm. So when the storm did actually break, he was not concerned or afraid. He could sleep in peace. I don't know if there's any backstory to the story, or if it's a true story or something someone made up. It's a very good story, though. It's a
good morality story, and I understand that you have a passion to drive. You love to drive. That's your thing. But I guarantee that probably anywhere between 90 to 70% of the truckers out there fargan hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah, they do.
But what do they do every week? They get back in that rig. They get back in that rig and they hit the road because it's the best way they can make money for their families. Best way they can make money for their sick son that's in the hospital. The best way they can put their kid through college. The best way they can support their parents. They don't do it because of passion. They do it because of morality, and they do it because they have to, because they're a man, and that's what's expected of them.
Then I got to hear about it on the damn road every time.
But it's not about passion. Do you understand where I'm coming from on that passion thing? It's not about passion. It's because you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, it's a 9 to 5.
It's because you're supposed to do it.
And the other thing is, what I'm trying to make a point is, if people have the passion, they'll stick with it. They'll give it its all. Most people don't do what they did back in the thing, and they did the 9 to 5 and did their job and went home. Nowadays, if they don't like it, they pretty much screw off. And they do a half-assed job.
I didn't have any passion suiting up and putting on a respirator to crawl in a tank full of crap to replace a pump. There's no passion there. I was just doing my job.
Because you got paid.
Because I got paid to do it.
Let's use an example.
Truck Sam, people like you.
Do you know that you have to change the light bulbs on those really tall towers 3 times a year, and every time you go up there, you make $80,000? Or maybe 4 times a year? Would you crawl up that 15,000-foot tower to change a light bulb?
If it was the only job I can get, yes,
But
I
that's
would.
the thing. It's not the only job you can get, right? With the people
No,
that sign up for it, the
there's
first
more
time
jobs
they
I
go up
can
that
probably
car,
look
I
at.
don't care if they were a Halo jumper and they were a Navy SEALs, they were ODA. That is scary. I don't think I could do it.
That tower moves.
And it probably moves like this.
Well, the other thing is, there's some people that will look at stuff and say, I'm not doing it because it's not passion for me. And or they do get into it, they don't give their all for it. Nowadays you don't see like people like us, like you, Akai, or me. It's something where when we do a job, we do it accurately. It's something where we give it all. We don't do a half-assed job on it.
No, because I'm not getting paid to do a half-ass job. I'm getting paid to do
Nowadays,
the job.
but the other thing is, these kids nowadays that are getting in the workforce, they're slacking off. Because it's not my passion, and that's what I'm talking about. If it's not their passion, they don't do what they should do. That's the issue.
I don't know.
How many? Okay, now here's my question, because I already know the answer to this one. How many people work jobs in their passion?
Well, I looked over earlier today, and there was a kid walking the neighbor's yard spraying it. Had an AirPod in his ear. I can guarantee he was there for the check. He's just walking back and forth and spraying the yard for to get rid of the weeds and stuff and fertilize it. He wasn't there because he loved doing it. You could tell by the look on his face. He absolutely hated what he was doing. But you know what?
Oh yeah.
Every 2 weeks they give him money.
But is it he giving
No,
it his
he
all?
wasn't.
Is he doing it
Maybe, I
rightly?
don't know. It didn't look right to me
Okay,
because when I
that's
go
what
out
I'm
and
talking
spray,
about.
I take way more time to do a yard than that. Because I want
Yeah, they do a half-assed job.
and that
That's
has
what I'm
nothing to
talking
do with
about.
passion. That has to do with them not honoring their word. Because when you pick up a job, you have duties and tasks that you're assigned, and you have to do those. Now, even I can't complete all the stuff I'm supposed to do at any given time. However, what happens is I just communicate that, hey, I got to all this, but I didn't get to this. I'm sorry because these 6 things came up, but I'm not trying to ever wash my way through the job and be like, oh, I hate this job, so I'm.
Trust me, there's a
And
lot of them do that.
it's not a
Even in
passion
trucking.
thing. They don't have the honor of their word anymore. It's 100%. We don't honor our word anymore. And it's the same thing at the beginning with Island Time. If
Well,
Sam says he's going to be there at 2:00, Sam's going to be there probably actually at 1:45 and waiting for you because Sam gave us his word. Truck Sam, if you have a delivery at 2:00 p.m., I know that you're going to be at that yard at probably 1:00, so you can try to get in early. What happens if you're late for a delivery, though?
well, it all depends on the
What do
company.
most companies do? 'Cause I'll tell you what my dad
But
tells me. They tell you come back tomorrow.
yeah, if you're like if you're an hour over your appointment time, you're pretty much rescheduling the next day. There's some places like Safeway, you might be getting charged $500 for being late. And if they do take you, they pretty much say, you're working. We'll get to you when we get to you.
So now let me ask that question the other way. Is that right? Because what if you're not late on your account? What if you're late because there was a bad accident on the highway, or like Sam said, they had a rock slide over there just south in west of you? What happens if you have to take a 3-hour detour to get to where you need to go? Why should you have to wait till the next day? Now, I'm not saying to get you in right now, but they shouldn't make you wait because they honored an appointment time and you did your best to make that commitment. Now, they're also not making that commitment by making you wait an extra day.
Well, they'll literally throw it back at me and say, well, you should have planned ahead. That's literally
If I
what
got
they'll
to
say
drop
to me.
off a load and
You should have planned
I
ahead.
got stopped because an avalanche happened and cover the road, there's no planning ahead for that. I would be like, okay, who do you plan
But
ahead
the
with?
thing
Because
is,
I want to talk to him because he must be Jesus.
because it's something where they literally said, oh, you should have gave more time to compensate for that.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have known.
That's
You wouldn't have
literally
known
what
about
they'll
the
say.
detour.
It literally happened like first thing in the morning,
Well,
and it covered both sides of the highway.
Yeah, but that's literally what they'll say is, well, you should have planned ahead.
Which means they don't have any respect.
They don't.
If they don't have any respect, for
There's
you,
very few places that.
But I understand also why the warehouse guy is like, nope, you're an hour late. See you tomorrow. Is because that's one less truck he's got to deal with that day.
Because he doesn't have honor to his job. Because 60 years ago, if that truck pulled up an hour late, that guy would still probably get unloaded that day.
And so the problem lies with people, not the job.
Correct.
It's people. It's people have this expectation that they need to get paid, $100,000 a year, live in a fancy house, and eat filet mignon every night.
Well, you can't.
You know what? Do you know what your minimum requirements are? You should have like a little pod room that's enough to lay down and sleep in, store a couple changes of clothes, a shower down the hallway, a bathroom down the hallway, a little cooking area down the hallway, and water and access to some medical, maybe go to the hospital or whatever. There's nothing that says you have to own a car. There's nothing that says you have to own a cell phone. There's nothing that says you have to have cable TV.
Well, cable TV isn't worth it, but even the streaming is not worth it now because we got rid of cable for streaming. Now, when you pay for streaming, you have to pay to get rid of ads. It's exactly like cable, except they have 12 channels you have to pay for: Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, blah, 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 blah.
But nothing says that you have the right to all these things. They're wants.
Correct, because if you took the whole world's population, okay.
Look at houses. Look at houses from 50 years ago to now. They are considerably smaller.
Mm-hmm.
You had a 1,200 square foot house back in the day. Well, that's a big house. Because you look at a lot of these little smaller houses, they were 500, 700 square foot.
Mm-hmm.
And they were raising families in those.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you used to buy a house from Sears.
Yeah, and now I would say the average square foot of a house now is like 2,500 square foot in the Midwest. In the Midwest. Not if you live in on the East Coast. You guys are screwed out there. You got to live in the tiny apartments, and but now, the cost of that has gone up to $400,000 to buy one, $350,000, $400K. The interest rate is 6%. So in order to afford that, you got to be making a minimum of $75,000 a year to afford that house, right? So, but you know what people did when they couldn't afford the house? They bought land and they built their own homes.
Now you have to pay for $12,000.
Yeah, but how much regulations on that now?
It doesn't matter about the regulation. The regulation is going to be there no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you're building a tiny home or you're putting a tiny home on an acre of land outside of town, you spent $15,000 on an acre of land somewhere or a quarter acre or whatever it is, and you put your little tiny home on there and you put your septic system on there, some of these houses that are out there, they started out basically as a 10 by 10 shed with a door framed on each wall. And when they wanted to add on the bedroom, they just said, "Oh, we're going to take that window out now. We'll use that window in the bedroom, and that'll be the doorway to the bedroom."
They do the same thing in Jamaica. They start with one thing, and they have doors on 3 or 4 sides, and then they add on, and then they have doors on 3 or 4 sides, and they just keep adding on.
Yeah. But the self-reliance of Americans, probably in the Western Hemisphere, I'm going to just lump the whole Western Hemisphere into this, has gone drastically down. They can't garden. They can't grow their own food. They can't They can't raise a chicken to save their life. They're going to kill it. They can't go fishing. They can't build their own stuff. They can't do their own automotive. People used to do all this stuff while making minimum wage and be able to get by. But now they can't do that stuff. They can't fix their own cars. They can't do all this stuff. They don't have the knowledge anymore. The knowledge has not been passed down. And so now, when they have to get their car fixed, it costs them $3,000, and they're like, but the parts are only $300. Yeah, but you're paying for all that labor. That mechanic had to do it.
Well, it reminds me when I just got done with getting the APU fixed on the truck in Shreveport. Just to replace the condenser fan, that was about $800.
Yeah.
Just for the fan. But the labor was,
but
I think,
if you were an owner operator back in the day, you'd probably done that yourself.
Yes.
Why?
Because it'd be cheaper and faster.
Oh. Not because you want to, but because you have to. Because we don't want to work on our own stuff. We just want it to work all the time. Okay.
Yeah, I know we're going over.
We're going over. I can keep yakking about this for hours.
I don't care as long as no one has to go.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta go cook supper here in a little bit, but
what I was gonna say is what's really happening, as Akai said, Akai, that the problem is actually people's loyalty in general, because if the truck driver gets there late for things that are outside of his control and they make him wait till tomorrow, they promised him a time slot for that day, and I understand why they send him home and make him come back the next day. However, they're really in breach of that promise, because if no one was there at 2, that means they could have been unloading someone at 2. Someone else was getting unloaded.
Welcome back.
Yeah. I had a phone call.
which means that because someone else was getting unloaded, they still technically have time for that truck driver. However, because they want to go home early and they're probably not getting paid enough for their liking, but getting paid enough is not one of those things. Everyone wants to make $100 million a year and wants to do 5 hours of work.
Yeah, they're not willing to put in the sweat, tears, and effort.
No, I agree with that part. It's something where nowadays they don't put in the effort like they used to.
Well, that's why you see my problem. You see my problem. You're already admitting you recognize that there's a problem out there.
Yeah, there is a problem to that. But these people, if you ask these people what they want, and pretty much says, if I don't have the passion for the job, I'm not going to do it that well. With people like us, we have a work ethic. When we come into a job,
that's the word, work ethic.
We do the job.
Yeah. But passion shouldn't dictate your work ethic. Your work ethic.
It does.
No, it shouldn't.
It does nowadays.
And if passion is dictating your work ethic, get the fuck out of my business.
Well, that's what you don't have to do. Because I see that all the time. Well, this is not my passion.
That's what I did do.
Well, I'm just saying. It's something where nowadays, I'm just here for a paycheck, and they're not my passion, so I don't give it my all. If you talk to 100 people that are just, been in the workforce for a little bit and all that, and people that are not doing the job, you get that answer. Oh, it's not my passion, or I don't get paid enough. Them are the two major things that will be said.
Let me tell you what the problem with that is. That's because hiring managers don't have people skills and they don't know how to actually hire people. I'm going to tell you something.
Possibly, yeah. But I think this falls back to something else. I think this falls back to, I hate to say it, parenting.
Yeah,
or lack thereof.
Well, and also it's like taking pride.
Well, a lot of these kids nowadays are free range.
No, they're not. Not compared to us. How many miles could you go from your house?
No, go to the park. Go to the park and watch these kids at the park and watch how free range they are. They are doing whatever they want, however they please.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay, yes.
And the parents don't care because they're too busy over in their little cackle group talking to each other and posting and doing this and that. And the kids could literally be beating the snot out of another kid, and they are not doing anything.
You know, I'm glad I don't have to worry about that with my wife.
Well, the other thing is, in today's society, is, before it used to be the village helped raise the child. Nowadays, if you do that, oh my God, you get your face punched in.
Well, I don't think the village needs to raise a child, but the damn sure parents need to raise a child.
Well, the other thing is, it takes the village to help raise the child. You ever heard that saying?
I've heard that saying, but I think a lot of it falls down to parents making children have a work ethic.
Well, it's also about punishment too for what you're doing.
No, you actually, if you're a good parent, you actually never really need to punish your children because they know better.
Sometimes you'll end up having to punish them a little bit, but it's not. I'm not saying abuse them. I'm just saying sometimes you might have to give them a spank.
I will never admit to whether I have to give my kids a spank or not. I cannot confirm or deny because that's considered child abuse in a lot of places now.
Well, I've talked to a lot of
people. Except Montana.
I think Oklahoma's the same too. It's not.
I think if you can't spank your child in public for them acting out and doing stupid, and the state's going to come after you, then the state is hereby responsible for anything else that happens in that kid's life. Because either you got to move out of that state where you can go become a parent, or, it's just ridiculous.
Well, mind you, one time I was talking to this retired judge that actually became a trucker. That kind of surprised me. And we were talking, and it's like he said, I made a comment. It's like, now, that old saying, "Spare the rod, spoil the child." And he says, "Yeah, nowadays, they need a good spanking." And I said, "Yeah, I agree with you because some of these kids are getting away with bloody murder." And it's like they can get away with it. They know it too.
And that I'm going to tell you that Bible quote, like many other quotes, is very much misquoted. The way it actually is if you spare the rod, you will spoil the child.
Yeah.
Just like the jack of all trades is the master of none is often better than the master of one.
Yeah, I agree with that saying too.
No, that's the whole saying. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They take half of a saying, jack of all trades, master of none, and make it into a derogatory thing. It's often better than the master of one.
Yeah, and I
am a jack of all trades.
But the only thing is, it's like nowadays, these kids need a structure, and sometimes, like I believe, okay, you warn them once, if they do it again, then okay, time for a punishment. That's what I believe. I'm not saying abuse your kid. I'm just saying, you give them a warning, but you got to back up that warning when they do it again. So they know, because back in my days, some.
So I just got to tell you once, and then after that, I can give you a punishment.
Can you do that to you too?
You can try.
I'll put my money on Sam.
I don't give up easily, but I'm not going down that road right now. But what I'm just saying.
Do you got level 3A body armor? No.
I don't give up unless I'm dead.
Good morning, officer. How you doing? Is that level 3A?
Have you seen that video? Are those automatic weapons? Is that body armor level 3A? Hey, man, we got to get out of here.
But what I'm saying is something where, back in my day, there's some punishment that went way too far. But thinking back, it also taught me a lesson, and I was better for that.
I don't know. I'm torn on that one.
In what way?
I'm torn on, what punishment's too far.
Well, they just
breaking bones.
You
the
know,
guy just killed people
When
and
you're
got put to
abusing
life in
a
prison.
kid,
yeah, I would have to sit down and like write out all the rules on that one. Like, what's abuse? You know,
so
if I'm
breaking
taking you
bones
and
to you is fine.
if I'm taking you and throwing you across a room and breaking bones, yes, that's abuse. But if I took away your Twinkies and made you sit in the corner for 3 hours, no. If I
No,
change your
no,
butt
I
till it's
agree.
red, no. If I, took something away from you aggressively because you thought of this. If I put my hands around your neck and gave it a little squeeze, no, not child abuse. Sorry, not there. But if I'm joking you out, okay, child abuse. I can see that.
How about using a
But
metal rod?
what? Getting spanked with a rod? Perfectly
Yeah,
acceptable.
really.
As long as you
Yeah,
don't break bones.
as long as you don't break bones.
So black and blue in somebody's ass to the point where you can't sit down for 2 weeks.
What'd they do?
And that's where
I'm just saying.
Sam had said you'd have to sit down and make a whole bunch of rules.
Yeah.
I find with kids, if you tell them that here's what I expect out of you, and if you don't do it, this is what the consequences are, and they have those consequences once. After that, when you continue to set those expectations, you don't generally have problems because
No,
they know it's going to happen when they don't follow
Yes,
them.
no, and
I agree with
I
that.
generally don't have problems as an adult when I explain that to children. This is the goal. This is what we're here to do. This is my expectations. If we do it by this and this, then we can get out of here on XX time, and we can do something nice on the way home or whatever. But and I had to learn that, and I think all parents need to learn that. But you can't. This the rules for abuse are set to such a low standard now that if you yell at somebody, they consider that abuse. You touched me on my
Yeah.
shoulder. That's sexual abuse. You did blah blah blah. You pulled up your pants. That's sexual abuse. You sat down with your legs spread open. Oh, you're mansplaining. Sexual abuse. It's the problem people have is it's been pushed too far one way, and now they're trying to push it back the other way. Now everybody's screaming that it's not far enough, and oh my God, you're going to get people killed. Well, it's got to be somewhere in the middle.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about it is let me give an example. You could yell at me, Sam, or Akai.
And I have.
I don't even remember. But
Yeah.
that's not abuse.
No.
But if you do it to a kid, it is. Why's there a double standard? It's okay for adults to yell at each other, but not kids.
I have yelled at adults. But if I'm yelling at you as an adult, I usually 99% of the time will take you aside into a private area where it's just me and you, and I will yell at you. And I will use my dad voice. But I think you need to do the same thing with children too, is take them to the side, talk to them privately, not in front of others, don't embarrass them. And they will understand it a whole lot better if you tell them you're disappointed that they did X, X, and X. If you keep this up, I'm going to put you over my knee. You're going to get more response out of it if you just go in flying hands and beat the shit out of everybody.
Correct.
Well, there's never, that's another thing with adults nowadays.
And when the standard has been explained multiple times, over and over and over, and the child continues to break it, what is the parent supposed to do? Sit around and let the child break it, or punish them? Because even if they get punished, they still do it.
Mm-hmm. They do.
So does the parent punish again and punish harder? And then the child still does it again? And they punish harder? And the child still does it again?
Well, that's something.
How much punishment? How much punishment to get it to stop?
And then you have a guy in Wyoming that killed 4 people or 5 people.
Montana, wasn't it?
Reason?
Montana.
No, what was that one guy? Was it Idaho or Wyoming? The one guy.
that was in the bar, that was over the bar and came down and killed the people in the bar. That was Montana.
That was Montana, and he got
That was
charged in
Montana.
Idaho.
I don't know if he got charged in
And
Idaho. Oh, but were you talking about the Idaho killer where that guy
Yeah,
he went to prison and now he's facing all these threats from the inmates want to kill him now, and he's got 4 life sentences plus 10 years and no parole. So
good luck.
but why did he do it in the first place? That's the question.
because he was a
kind of-
scumbag.
Usually there's a motive to something. There's always a motive.
Well, if you're going out just whacking people just because you want to see what it looks like,
That's a motive.
you're a
if you want to
scumbag.
do that, go join the Marine Corps. Just saying.
But what I'm just only saying, usually there's in most cases, there's usually a motive to it, and it's usually something that they don't know how to deal with it rightly. They don't know how to talk with somebody. They don't know how, yes, what they did was wrong, and they should be punished for it. But it's something where they, what was motive, and that is what's wrong with today's society. People don't know how to communicate nowadays.
I personally don't care why he killed him. And I don't think anybody else cares why he killed him. There is no reason good enough. Well, there is reasons good enough, but there is no reason that was good enough for him to kill them.
Correct.
I think it was a just cause thing to see if he could get away with it.
I'd be kind of curious. That's how I think. I want to know why. Why did you do this, dude? And usually, if you let me finish. It's something where if you usually can figure out why, then you can figure out, oh, there's people out there like that. We might need to keep a closer eye on these people, so we don't have that incident again.
Keep a closer eye on who? What are you saying?
Well, let's say
you give us an example.
Basically, let's say if his behavior is aggressive, but he won't communicate, like he's being a shut-in, and he's being, quiet, but there's people that agitate him, and he, basically hits that breaking point, he snaps.
This line of train of thought scares me because it's going to lead to a police state.
Well,
no, it
the
is.
bad thing is
because now you're telling, hey, watch people that don't come out very often. Hey, if he's very quiet and maybe he's got nothing to say. Maybe he doesn't know those people. Maybe he's shy.
So basically, he's going to wait until he snaps and goes on a shooting spree. That's another thing you have to
Who's responsible for your self-control?
Yourself, but also
nobody else is responsible for you.
Let me finish here. Basically, the way in trucking, I'll give you a good example. People, like when I correct somebody's behavior, they always get pissy. It's like, why don't you drive your own truck? It's like, hey, you're in front of me. You affect me too. If you do something wrong, it causes an accident, you affect me. Same thing with these people that are not, that are quiet, that are, that are not what you call all there, and they're not getting the proper treatment or physical therapy for the, help them out with communicating. That's where you get these problems.
But who's responsible for that?
Mostly it's on them, but it's also on society.
No, it's not.
Because
society doesn't owe them nothing.
But it affects them too.
Yeah, but if you keep pushing for society to take care of all the problems, society is going to take care of all the problems. We're going to go, oh, this kid was born with dyslexia. Well, We don't want to pay for that in the future. Let's just execute them and be done with it. Let's just get rid of the problem. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So if you keep pushing for society to take care of everything,
I'm not pushing for society to take care of everything, but the problem of violence, of going out and shooting somebody, that's what I'm talking about. The people that are out there
that's a morality thing.
Other people. No,
that's a morality thing. No, that's morality. That's morality. The ability to kill somebody is morality. It's not because I felt like it. No, it's morality. It's morality. You have a lack of morality if you can kill somebody. That's what it comes down to. If you're going to go into a house just cause and kill 4 people because you feel like it, there's a severe lack of morality in your head, because you need to take care and love and blah blah others, and and be sociable and be a nice person. Well, going out and killing somebody is not being a nice person.
Well,
unless they're a pedo. But
I have my list.
Well, it's something where it's like the Charles Manson. He was like trying to bring a race war. It wasn't about morality. He did it because he wanted to start a race war.
Which goes back to morality.
No, he believed in something. Yeah. He believed in something.
It's 100% because he doesn't have morals. Morality would. If he had morals, he wouldn't believe in that.
If he had morals, he wouldn't believe in that race is not superior, and his morals were effed up, and that's why he was out there killing people. It's all morality. What? I don't think he did it.
Oklahoma. Well, the only thing is,
prove it to me.
Well, I'm just asking.
I heard the videotape. I heard the tape. There are multiple explosions in the Oklahoma bombing. They're all simultaneous. Boom, 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 boom. That was I'm sorry. You're not going to tell me Tim McVeigh pulled that off. And they knew it was Tim McVeigh within less than 30 minutes after it happened? Come on. It was less than that, and they had the guy's name. That's kind of like the whole, Kennedy shooter in the Oswald and all that crap. No, I'm sorry. And not one member of the ATF was hurt in that bombing. They were all out at some convention in a building that happened, that didn't even exist. They basically all stayed at home that day.
Mm-hmm.
They knew what was going to happen. Huh?
And
what about?
Oh man, more conspiracies. I'm sorry. I've seen a lot of buildings burn for hours upon hours and never pancake fall like that.
The other thing is,
I've seen them be gutted, but never collapse like that, because they're designed to burn like that. They're designed to support the weight above them.
Well,
I'm not talking about the building thing. I'm talking about the action of it.
Oh, they totally knew it was coming. The guys had been reported.
People that did it.
Yeah, they had no morale. They had no morality.
They believed it was part of their religion.
I wouldn't.
And they had no morality. It goes back to morality. They're willing to kill other people
to
push their agenda, which is a lack of morality. If they had morality, that had said, "This is stupid, dude. Can't we just go talk to them?"
I would say on that it has nothing to do with their religion at all, because I can tell you that there's people of the Islam faith that I have had to interact with since I left the military that are some of the best people in the world, and they would give you their shirt off their back. I know this is kind of hard for Sam or Akai because of what happened with you, and I completely
got issues.
I mean, as a kid, you were held captive for 18 months or some period of time in another country. And I can understand. However, if we want to judge any group of people by their worst, then we're just as bad as they are. Because you could go in our country, and if you took our worst people and sent them to other worlds to take care of stuff, a lot of bad stuff would happen. Like the Charles Mansons. You say, hey, Charles Manson, here's a list of people. They're bad people. Can you take care of them for us? I don't think those people would live very much longer. So it's really about the people not having the and I had a good conversation today at the VA with the guy about this, the proper coping mechanisms to either financially or emotionally or mentally deal with the issues that they have to deal in life. In Iraq, they used to give out like $1 million or some stupid amount. No, it was more than that. It was like $5,000 or $10,000 per American they killed. And when I was there, I think it was $700 per million dinar. Well, if you're in a really tough situation and you can go and blow yourself up and kill 4 Americans and your family gets a nice fat payday, I'm not saying that's right, but like their morality is compromised because they're trying to take the money over the other person's life. Because I bet you if that same person came to the United States, not as a person, but to the military and said, hey, listen, this guy over here is trying to pay me to kill you. I bet not only did we have money, to my understanding, for those groups of people to give them money, we would use them for information and pay them, and it would be better in the long run for them because they would get more money and they would be alive.
I don't think so, because some of it they'd be more the hardcore ideology of the.
You've never been overseas, Truck Sam? You don't
Yeah, I have.
understand the people for. Well, where did you go?
Parents were in the military. We got stationed. We always lived off base.
Was he in Turkey?
So we were.
Sam?
No.
Okay.
No.
You've never been in a combat zone, my friend, so you don't understand how the people of other countries work. You might have been off base in Germany or off base in Okinawa or wherever.
England. No, not England.
Wherever. It's different than you being in a country where you are trying to do a mission that is really put up forward by your government, and you are trying to make the quality of life of the people go up as a whole, and the people are being told things that aren't true by the people that are around them because they're trying to manipulate the situation so that they can become in a favorable position so they can make more money. It is a completely different situation. You go to England, you go to Japan, you go to Germany. Generally, those people love service members. But you go to Qatar, they love you. You go to Kuwait, they love you. But you get
I'm trying to think if you were ever technically overseas.
Yeah, I was.
I'm failing to
England.
remember what country. Yeah, so you were in England? That's what it was?
England.
Okay.
Yeah. And
That's
we've
like a
been to
cakewalk.
Sweden.
I'd love a deployment to England or
Yeah,
something.
so it was South Dakota to England and then back. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so it was England.
I have to look at my passport because I know I took out my
It's
baby
England.
passport.
It's England. Yeah.
But there's a couple other stamps on there.
Yeah, but it's Europe.
That's not so for us. That's not overseas. From the military perspective, if you go to Afghanistan,
The thing is,
you go to,
if these people have morality, it didn't have morality. Why, why did ISIS take over that country again after we gave it to them, and also change their, expective? It's like
Because they didn't want us there in the first place. That's why.
Exactly. We spent 20
You're
years
talking Western culture versus Islamic culture. That's like, it's like doing this. This is what it's going to be the whole time. Because the cultures don't mesh.
Yeah, and on top of that, you said it's all about morality. And
it is about morality when it comes to killing people.
In England, people didn't try to kill you.
But how many people did they kill?
Not as many as we killed.
And what do they always say? Oh, it's part of our culture. It's a part of our religion. It's not because
it's morality.
It's morality. If it's morality, they wouldn't kill you. They'd probably sit down and talk to you. But what did they do? They killed you. They killed people.
It's a morality
they don't
issue.
Care, and
which they have a lack
they
of.
said it was about the religion. It's
which
always,
doesn't teach
about
morality.
Religion.
Which doesn't teach morality.
There's more to it than that.
No, it's not. It's not. The religion teaches if you can steal from an infidel, steal. If you can kill an infidel, kill. If you can cheat him out of stuff, cheat him out of stuff. You don't have to tell an infidel the truth. That is a morality thing. That is not a cultural thing. It's a morality thing. It's it's the morality. It's the morality that you were taught. Where when you
Hey,
grow up,
it up.
and when you grow up in a
religious
Western,
thing.
and when you grow up in a Western culture, and you're taught a Judeo-Christian morality, you're taught to tell the truth. You're taught to be honest. You're taught to, help
Thou
and
shalt not
protect
steal,
people
thou shalt not
and
kill,
all that
thou shalt
stuff.
not-
It's the morality that you're taught and trained.
And it's based off of the religion. Our culture
Whatever.
you're in. But it's not all morality.
That's the thing, though. You can't say it's
my
religion
God.
because not everyone in the religion
I'm
is like
not
that.
stepping down from this.
No, because you're an idiot.
It's
And
not-
that's okay. And everybody else knows it. We'll just move on. Because I'm sorry, I'm not going to argue over the word because you just don't want to accept it.
You don't want to see half the truth.
That would be like me saying
Truth
that all
is a three-edged
Catholics,
sword.
all Catholics allow murder because if they go to the priest and do confession, he's going to tell them to do 15 Hail Marys or whatever. Like, and that makes all Catholics murderers. Or like saying all Catholic priests do stuff with children. Like you can't take a bushel of apples and say they're all bad because there's bad apples. You take out the bad apples and you judge the bad apples based on their, in this case, morality, and then you leave the rest of the religion alone.
But
And
it's also
anyone,
something they believed in doing. It's not all
because
about morality.
of morality,
It's
they
not
don't have.
all because of morality. It might be half of it, yes.
It's 99%
Truth is
of
a
it.
three-edged sword. Once you talk, you figure out, it's like, and sometimes it is all about morality. Yes, but not all the time.
Okay. And on that note, I'm done. I got to cook supper and I will talk to you all later. Thank you for coming out tonight to Just Pure Talk episode. I didn't change the number. Episode 53.
Naughty.
I didn't change the number. It's episode. I changed the date, but I forgot to change the. I forgot to change. Yeah, I can change that right now. There we go. There we go. So now that I've updated the episode number,
Can we start over?
No, we're good. We're good. But thanks for coming out. Thanks to all our sponsors. Thanks to Cerullo's Rustlers. Codes are down there, and all our other sponsors are listed down below. If you like, and if you didn't see, cup in hand, merch store. And it's kept my water cold the entire time, which is lovely because my throat is starting to hurt. So, thanks for coming, and we'll see you guys next week.
Appreciate
Have a
you.
nice one, guys.